tuned into Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Tom. This is my co-host for the night, James Knowles. This is the RBLR Sun podcast on a Sun match week. If you're new, thanks for joining. If you're returning, thanks for coming back just like the team is about to. James, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I really like that segue. It's perfect to lead us into the Tampa Bay Sun. It is our first game back, just as you said. There are a lot of new developments, not a ton of new developments specifically related to roster, as we have talked about on prior podcasts. So, we have to preview a team that we mostly know, and we have to preview a team that I don't think really even the other fans know. So, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this works out.
Yeah, it's a good game to get back into. James, you're actually live on location in Brooklyn, New York. Is that right?
That's right. I'm about to streak onto the field as soon as we turn off the camera. I'm ripping off my shirt. I'm ripping off my shorts. Well, to be fair, you can't see, but the shorts are already gone, and I'm going onto the field, and I'm just going to check it out, see what it's like, and see how nice a baseball diamond they got up there.
Yeah, Maimonides Park is no Al Lang Stadium. Let's be real.
No.
If you got to play in a baseball field, hey, you gotta. Let's just leave it at that. But yes, we are playing Brooklyn FC this weekend. Before we want to get into that, I do want to give a shout out to Denise Schulte Brown, our valiant head coach, and not just to her, but to her son, Ethan Brown, who has made his first appearance recently in the Scottish Premiership with Kilmarnock. So he's a seasoned pro already, it seems like. He's had some time down in the Scottish League One, but I think it's a milestone worth mentioning to crack that top flight barrier.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is probably good for Canadian soccer because on the men's side, at least, they are crying out for more center backs. So if Ethan Brown ends up going on a run in the Scottish Premier League, it's unlikely, but it's not impossible for him to make a World Cup squad coming up next summer. Like I said, unlikely, but if he plays every single game, he's going to get some call-ups. I will tell you that. We'll just see how it goes.
Yeah. We're everybody in Tampa Bay is rooting for him. You know, he's our favorite Canadian male player.
That's right. I think that's a perfect way to put it.
Yep. And I made sure to add male in there because I don't want to step on Viv's toes or any of our other Canadian players on the team. But yeah, before we get into Brooklyn, there is some actual roster news. The team is sometimes they gave us nothing, and now all of a sudden, game week, they give us some news to talk about. The Academy girls are back. I think they will be less of a factor in this early game than they had to be previously because there were no visa problems. But hopefully they will see some game time because we brought in a very, very strong group of not yet pros. Sienna Bryan returns from last year. She is, of course, she was with us last year. She had some minutes. She's already got pro minutes under her belt. Very good player. I believe she's committed to Georgetown, which she'll be joining next year. She already committed, as a high school junior, which is impressive. But she's quote unquote surpassing expectations. So I would expect to see her have earned play time this year, especially because it seems like she's been upgraded off the field already to best friend status with Sid Nasello and Jordan Zay, and they do everything together. So love to see Sienna back.
Yeah. As you said, this is one of the players when we were very early on, we needed to kind of fill out the roster and ultimately fill out the substitutes who were coming on late in the game. So Sienna Bryan benefited from that. But if she's made the impression such that she can stick around, maybe she doesn't end up going to Georgetown. Who knows? But also if she goes to Georgetown after all of this, I think that she's going to be one of the most experienced players out there naturally. Yeah. And that's going to probably benefit her turning pro sooner than the vast majority of her teammates. So turning fully pro, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see that, and we've seen a couple of teams so far reach into their academies to actually pull players out. I think most prominently are Celie Strawn over at Dallas and Taylor Smith down in Fort Lauderdale. Both of those two ended up being regular starters for their clubs, and you've got to imagine they're going to have really good futures in the game. I don't think that either of them are headed for the college route at this point because they're actually prominent part of the teams they're on. So maybe Sienna Bryan doesn't reach that level, and you know what? That's perfectly fair. This is a pretty good roster to try and break into. So regardless, I still think that it's going to help her down the line. And however many minutes she gets this year, as well as the other players that are listed on academy contracts, I just think it'll be beneficial for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, we don't have, an amateur women's team outside of the UPSL. The Sun don't have an official USLW team set up, but the fact that we have sent along already 3-4 girls who are playing in college now, with Ella Martinez, Lindsay Nicholson, a couple others. Apologies if I forgot you. But it's a good sign. It's what the team's here for. It's what the league's here for. We're developing talent.
Yeah, exactly.
James, do you want to take the next academy baby?
I can do that. So the next one is forward or attacking midfielder Alyssa Parsons, according to the notes here that Tom has helped me put together. And by helped me, I mean he did it. She is from Apopka originally and committed to USC. That is Southern California, not South Carolina. Probably the better of the two. So good for her. One of 6 forwards called into a U17 national team camp in May. Obviously, that's a pretty good sign right there, if you ask me. Club ball for FC Prime in Orlando in the past, and was a sophomore of the year in high school at Windermere Prep, also around the Orlando area. Scored 41 goals in 11 games. What do you even say to that? I mean,
it's insane.
Why? In all honesty, the only thing, if I hear you scored 41 goals in 11 games, I'm like, well, you got to jump up a level or two at that point. Yeah. You gotta, it's time to see if this is the high school level, then you need to start playing college or something. If you're going to do that, you need to just jump up, enroll early, or in this case, obviously start training with a local professional club. I think that's probably the better option here. Yeah. You're not going to score 41 goals in 11 games for the Sun, but you might work your way onto the field, and I think that's probably the best option for her.
Yeah, I think the fact of the matter is that the team has elevated itself so much already that we're kind of expanding the search a little bit when it comes to academy players, is what this tells me, because she comes out of the Orlando area, out of the purple system. Unfortunately, we're working on fixing her though. But yeah, you scored 3.7 goals a game as a sophomore in high school, as a 15-year-old. Yeah, you better start looking at national team camps. You better start looking at pro clubs. That's a really good signing. And I do think Southern Cal is probably the better of the two USCs, which is still saying something because I'm watching South Carolina right now. They're ranked 16th in the country. Can't go wrong with either USC, apparently.
I'm watching. I got Georgetown and High Point on, so you got me beat on. You got me beat on that one.
Nice. Hey.
For relevancy, I'm watching the men's side because there are 9 people from Tampa on the High Point team. I didn't realize that, but there we are.
Didn't realize that was one of our teams, apparently. But yeah, go Panthers.
It's Tampa North up there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love college soccer. It's a short season. We'll get into it at the end, but there's so many options here in Tampa too, especially. But really exciting. But yes, we got one more girl joining on an academy contract. She is a USF commit out of Auburndale, Florida, 863. Go Greyhounds, or Bloodhounds, or the Bloodhounds, I believe. Incredibly cool team. Really cool. Pascal Million, former Rowdy, comes out of that school too. But it is attacking midfielder forward, McKenna Batilla. She has played for the Olympic Development Program for Florida and for the Southeast entire region. Product of the West Florida Flames Academy, just like yours truly. And she's actually the top high school tennis player in Polk County as well.
Huh.
Yeah. So she's an elite athlete in soccer and an elite athlete in tennis. luckily for us, she prefers soccer, apparently.
Yeah, it's probably easier, I would imagine at this point, based on the opportunities, it's probably easier to break into a professional setup in soccer than it is tennis, because I would imagine that, well, I don't know a ton about tennis, so maybe I'm just talking out my rear here, but I do think that there's obviously the Super League, which she's in contact with a local team, so that's pretty good. But if you make it to the D1 level on the women's side, you can be a professional at a high level somewhere in the world. It might not be NWSL, it might not even be the Super League, but hey, who wouldn't want to live in Spain? That would sound pretty good to me. Italy is a pretty up and coming league at the moment, and I think that if you make it to D1, you could play at most of the clubs there. Maybe not the Juventus level clubs, but a lot of them. So I really think that if you want to make it as a professional athlete, and on the women's side, again, if you make it to D1 level, you're probably good enough to play professionally. It just depends on where you want to go. And if she sees a future in this locally, that's awesome for us, of course. But I think that this, like I said multiple times already, I hate to repeat myself when we're only 10 minutes in, but that's how it goes. This is going to be a huge benefit to her in the future. You're going to have to see what it takes to go from the high school to the professional level. That's a huge jump, obviously. And it'll be sink or swim at some point, but now she just has to learn, get herself to a level where she's either ready to compete for us, or of course, the more likely option is ready to compete at the college level.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the fact that she's committing to USF is awesome for us. She will be joining a player I forgot to mention from last year's academy group, Skylar Alonso, who is now a freshman at USF, and she's already getting play time there. So like you said, playing with the sun, seeing how the pros operate, what the speed of the game can be like versus even elite level travel ball or high school. It's going to help you out immediately when you get onto the campus up there in Temple Terrace. So yeah, and that's just it. Cause obviously we all know the head coach for USF is Denise's husband. So if we keep it, in the family, in the area, in the region, it's a good thing for soccer as a whole. The whole point of having a team locally is not just to win championships and make money, but to grow the sport and to provide opportunities for the player and just make everybody better. And it's good signs all around. I like this, it's just two because Sienna has been here, but I like the two additions that we've got.
Yeah, absolutely. I am right on board with you.
Yeah, it seems like a good plan. I harp on it every single chance I get that I think we should have a W League team to support that development. Carolina does. Fort Lauderdale does. I think we should be in that crop, especially because Tampa United shut down their W League and League Two operations. So there's a birth of not quite professional level players that could use, some extra game time.
And I'm sure they're looking for it.
Yeah. Hey, and hey, teaser alert. We'll get into it. Stick with us. Because we're going to be talking, we're getting into the nitty gritty of it, folks. That's what we're here for. But yes, let's get into whatever the opposite of nitty gritty is, the big stuff, the stuff that you all actually tune in for. We are playing a Super League game, a league game in the Super League, the Gainbridge Super League, our first ever Gainbridge Super League match.
That's right.
Yep. We are apparently the only ever champions of the USL Super League because the league is brand new.
You'll never sing that.
Yeah. USL Super League champs, you'll never sing that. Especially if you listen to some of the league propaganda where it's like, oh, it's the first ever season for a new league. It's like, we're 2 years old. We're already ignoring the first whatever. But yes, we are playing Brooklyn FC, who have historically, out of all our 7 opponents, 9 or 8 now that Jacksonville's coming in, Brooklyn has been a bugaboo for us. We have never beaten them. 2 draws, 2 losses. But we are, of course, the defending champs. We go up there to their home, but home is kind of a loose term in New York City because they have never won at Cody Island. All of their wins came in the fall at home in Columbia. So it's, on one hand, it's anybody's game. On the other hand, I think it's our game to lose. How do you feel going into the Brooklyn game?
I didn't realize that record actually. So that is very interesting to point out. It does give me a little boost of confidence heading into this one. The other thing that I would like to point out, I was actually talking about this doing a preview earlier and going through the Brooklyn roster. They have some players obviously that they had last season, so there's going to be a level of experience for sure. I'm not saying that it's going to be a bunch of amateurs or anything. However, there's a lot fewer names that I recognize on this team, I think, compared to even like DC Power right now. And I don't think DC is a particularly strong team, but yeah, they brought in a center back from Lexington last season. Obviously, Lexington was terrible last season. I'm not saying anything that's rude or mean spirited. It's legitimately the case. So I don't know. They've got a couple of players from last season that they stayed around, so that's positive for the team for Brooklyn. But yeah, it doesn't. Nothing really stands out to me when I'm looking at this, and I'm not shivering in my boots if I want to put it that way. It just seems to me like if this is a team that we've never beat before, maybe this is the time to go and beat them. Obviously, this is their first game too. Tom, perhaps you have a little more information on their preseason because I do not. But I think that this is probably a good time for us to go and see. We're going to be experimental as well because it's our even if you did have a good long preseason, the first game is always going to be an experiment, whether or not your ideas actually work. So we're both probably going to be experimenting to some level, but I think the continuity between us and them, I think that we are obviously very much better off in that category. So I think that this is going to be our best chance to get that first win.
Yeah, in theory, it'll be great to start the new season, the defending campaign by, shaking that albatross off of our neck of a team we've never beaten, and it's better chance than ever to do it. Yeah, there are some continuing players from last year for Brooklyn, 6 to be exact, which is a small number, I might say. And of course, they have a new head coach. A lot of the players they brought in are veterans, not necessarily familiar names. Super League fans, though. Yeah, let's. The new head coach, Tomas Tangarina, he's very attractive. Let's get that out of the way. So expect the camera to find him a couple times during the game for sure. But he comes over from Damiense in the Portuguese top flight, but they were like just off of relegation. So not, a superpower, not Sporting Lisbon or anything, Porto.
Maybe him keeping them up was one of the best things that's ever happened in Portugal. I mean, we don't know, but it's obviously not the strongest record.
Yeah. But he brings over a little bit of a different look. I don't know how much the identity was intact for a team like Brooklyn last season. But he's added a lot of kind of European flavor to this team, to the roster. And that's why in my projected lineup for them coming up, there's only one new player to Brooklyn that was in the Super League last year, I believe. So it's a very interesting composition. So their last run out, obviously it wasn't the playoffs because they drove their whole club off of a cliff at the end of last year after. You remember they were like the best women's soccer team in the country for about a month there. And
it switched around for a little while in the second half of the season between Carolina and Dallas. I know that Brooklyn was up there for a teensy bit, and then I think between us and Carolina, we probably took over that title.
Oh yeah. There was a hot moment where Brooklyn might have been unbeatable. Like they get them out of the league. I don't want to see them anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they last played, they played in a 4-2-3-1. That may change under the new coach, but I don't have any game film from Portugal, unfortunately. That's my bad. But that lineup 4-2-3-1. And as I go through, I will name the players that are not here anymore. In goal for Brooklyn was Alexa Goldberg, gone. The back line, Leah Scarpelli, Kelsey Hill, still here, Allison Pantuso and Nakia Smith, gone. Midfield, Hope Breslin, Sam Kroger still here. Attacking midfielders, Mackenzie Pluck, gone. We took her. Jess Garziano, still there. Mackenzie George, gone. Attacker, forward, Catherine Kelly, Carolina Kelly, gone. So that's a solid half, more than half of their starting lineup from their last game. So a lot of turnover. Carolina Kelly went to Dallas. We took Pluck. Mackenzie George to Carolina. Luana Grabius to Carolina, who was not a starter in that last game, but a big piece. Allison Pantuso to the Lexington Green Machine powerhouse that they're building. Nakia Smith, I think she's just doing real estate now, as far as I can tell, which good for her.
Okay.
And Alexa Goldberg is actually practicing with us, but not quote unquote signed. So we took their, and that was a game they won against Carolina, as they were, debate can be had about if Carolina was kind of taking their foot off the gas going into the playoffs.
Yes,
but,
right.
But still. So they've got a lot of gaps to fill, and the lineup might be a different formation, like I said, but we can only go off of what we know, what we're here to speculate. Welcome to Speculation Corner. Here's my possible starting projected 11 for Brooklyn. In goal, I believe very strongly, actually, it'll be Kelsey Doherty, a veteran 28-year-old player, had 50 matches for Celtic. She slots in. All the other Brooklyn options at goalie are kind of young, recent signers. And then, of course, in defense, plugging in on the left and right wing will be Emily Pringle. She's young, just a second-year pro, but she was with Brisbane in the A-League, was with San Diego Wave as national team replacement player, so a good up-and-comer. And Shin-Nae Yong on the opposite side of her, who our dear sweet baby girl that we love so much here on the show. Moving up, I think Hope Breslin and Sam Kroger will still be the anchors. But then you got Anna Maria Markovic, who is kind of a really big signing for Brooklyn. And they did that 2 weeks ago. She does come over from Damayense, the club that Tangarini was at. So she knows him. He knows her. She has minutes for the Croatian national team. She seems like kind of a shoo-in to start playing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Emma Loving as well, who's pretty young, fresh out of the French top flight with Strasbourg, 4 years as a pro, a pure winger. So she's gonna know what she's doing with that. She's not going to be out of position. And then up top, I see Catherine Zimmerman, a 10-year pro, somebody to bring a little bit of stability to the attack for Brooklyn that they definitely will need. You need a lot of veterans when it's a team that doesn't know each other so well, because they'll figure it out a lot quicker than new girls. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minimum new players, just because that's what you lost. It's going to be tough going for Brooklyn early on. I don't think anybody's had as much turnover as they have. Maybe Spokane, Jacksonville, all new players, obviously. But yeah, I think like you hinted at, like you said, we definitely get the edge up in terms of continuity. Our players know each other. We know what the game plan is. Even though Denise says, we're two games behind where we want to be because we didn't have a long enough preseason or whatever, but the team knows each other. We're going into it with the momentum Brooklyn doesn't have.
Yeah, you mentioned what their starting lineup last time looked like and what their starting lineup this time might look like. I mentioned earlier today, I was looking at preview stuff, and I also looked at the Tampa Bay Suns last game and our last lineup. We have lost, if I can remember this correctly, 4 players from that list. Ashley Orcus, unfortunately, I think we all knew the writing was on the wall there. That sucks for the fans because, not that we hate Sydney Schneider, the presumptive number one, but it's just because Ashley Orcus interacted with the fans right behind her very frequently. So she immediately became a fan favorite. And we're all hopeful, of course, that Sydney Schneider does the same and ends up in the same position. But Ashley Orcus is one of those. You look at the back line, of 4 players, we have lost 1, and that's Paige Almendarez. No shade here, but I think that if we're going to lose anybody that would be the one that I would have chosen. Let's keep Brooke Hendricks and Viv Bissett. They are awesome in the center of the defense. And Dory Haugen has come along really well. I think that this is effectively her rookie year, so she's doing well. And I think that she really grew into it as the season went by. If you go into the midfield, we're missing one player. That's Jade Moore. Jade Moore was next to Jordy Listro. We obviously kept her, the captain. That's very positive. The attacking midfield was Sydney Nasello, Tosh Flint, and Carly Giamona. They're all back. And then the other player that we have lost was Cecilia Flew. That's going to be probably the biggest loss here. Not because Jade Moore is a bad player. She's obviously very good, and she brought a lot of experience. I'm hopeful that Jordan Listro is going to be able to help fill that specific gap here, because she is the captain. This is her second year as a captain, and she is a true veteran of professional soccer at this point. Cecilia Flew, though, like I said, she's going to be the hardest to replace because of her goals. Goals are the hardest thing to do in soccer. So trying to replicate, I don't know, 11 or 12, however many goals it was, that's going to be the most interesting thing. The good news is we have somebody who can step into that role, who knows what they're doing, because they have been here for already over a year. They just did not get to play a lot last season, and that's Hannah Keene. So Tom, I guess my question for you is, I guess I'm cutting you off from what you had written here, but one quick second before we get into that. Do you think that Hannah Keene is the presumptive starter up top? That's my question, and then we'll hop into all of the other new players that you have lined up here for the Sun.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think she had an interesting season last year because she was, of course, rehabbing from an injury.
Yeah,
and so I think early on she was a victim of the visa epidemic, but once she got here, she was still rehabbing, so we couldn't just throw her in. She did finally make her debut for us against Brooklyn, up on Coney Island, ironically enough. And yes, to answer your question directly, I think she does partner with Tosh Flint as the striker for us. She came in a lot as a substitute in last season, partly because you have to start Flew, partly because she is still rehabbing that injury. You don't want to make her run more than she has to. But I think with the benefit of the training, the rehab, everything under her belt, all the familiarity, I think she's more than willing, more than able, more than ready to start for us and at least patch the hole left by Cecilia, because you can't replace her at all. There's nobody in the Super League we could have signed. Amina Ekic. There's nobody we could have signed to replace Cecilia Flew-Nielsen, but you replace her by attacking differently. We change the way we work a little bit, and it's going to come from different players, from different angles. We're not going to, we're a team that you can't pin down. One player gets good, everybody else steps up. We've seen it last season. We'll see it again this season for sure. But yes, Hannah Keene is, in my opinion, the presumptive strike partner for Tosh Flint.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of where I landed earlier. So we're on the same page there. Everybody book it. If you want to put money down somewhere, you've got the stamp of approval from RBLR Sun for Hannah Keene starting up top. But Tom, I cut you off from the re-preview as you have it here for the Sun. So let's hop into that and talk about the new players for the Tampa Bay Sun.
Yeah. If you're just, rejoining the show because the season's about to start, welcome back, like and subscribe. And if you have missed any of the big news that has gone on, we have signed players. That is what teams do in the offseason. Players leave, players come. We're sad to see Paige go. We're sad to see Orcus go. We're sad to see Jackie go. We're sad to see everybody leave. But we got to keep moving on. Mm-hmm. You're going to learn to love these 11 and a half players. See, I think I counted Sienna as 11 and a half. But we re-signed her. We re-signed other people too. Sydney, Nasello, Schneider. So you're going to learn to love these 11 new players for sure. And the first one you are going to love is going to be a defender from Australia on loan from the North Carolina Courage by the name of Charlotte McLean. She's, I think, going forward, going to be a big piece for us. Maybe that Paige replacement on our back line. She's very well loved back home in Australia. She won a pile of trophies with Sydney FC. like, 4 or 5, which is, good enough for a pile, in my opinion. But she was snubbed, in most Sydney fans' opinion, from the A-League All-Star roster. She was snubbed, in most Sydney fans' opinions, from the Australian national team last time they tried it out. And since joining the Courage, she was pretty much basically entirely unused. So I think coming down to Florida, she's hungry. She wants to prove she's still got what she had in Sydney. She deserves to be playing. She wants to prove to the Australian national team coaches, which is a pretty good national team, I think, that she deserves to be playing. So I really like her. She's a player I think is going to make a big difference immediately. And a little teensy note about her playing in this game coming up, more than likely, is that Brooklyn also signed Jordan Thompson, who was a teammate of hers on the back line back home in Sydney. So they know each other. That'll be something to watch. But yeah, love Charlotte McLean coming onto the team. I think fantastic. Don't fall in love too hard, because she is a lonie, but do open up some room in your heart for her.
Yeah. What this reminds me of immediately, because it's almost the exact same circumstances, is last year when we started the season, we looked at, us, the podcasters, we looked at what the roster was going into the first couple of games. We were maybe we're a little light. Well, the team went out and got an immediate loan signing right before the first game, and that was Talia Stodd. So she was here from North Carolina Courage, and she ended up playing as a wingback. And ultimately, I think that this is, if we get, I don't know, half the same production from Charlotte McLean as we did from Talia Stodd, then I think we've done a pretty good job, because Talia Stodd came in, did a very good job. It's unfortunate that we couldn't keep her, in all honesty. But of course, as you said, love them, but just remember, if they're here on loan, we're probably not going to get to keep them long term. So if this is the same kind of deal, she's going to come in, do a very good job again. And then because she did such a good job, we probably won't be able to get her right back, unfortunately.
Yeah, we want her to play great for us. But the whole problem is, if she plays great for us, North Carolina is going to see how good she really is. And
exactly.
Damn it. Yeah, man, you had to say Talia Stoud. I was like the leader of the Stouty heads for a while there. I hardcore fell in love with her. But
well, we'll just keep putting that into the universe, and we'll keep sliding that in when we talk with anybody from the Sun and be like, "Hey, is Talia Stodd? Is she free? Does any? I mean, I don't know. Just asking."
I know you guys talk to the Courage. Like, what's her contract situation? James, you want to switch on and off going down the list here?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So the next player that we have here is Sabrina McNeil, a winger and defender that we signed from Fort Lauderdale. Now, Sabrina McNeil, I don't remember as much of her as I do the other players, like obviously Jasmine Hamid and Shania Gordon. But I do remember Sabrina McNeil was, I think, one of their options to come off the bench as a winger, or more frequently, if I'm not mistaken, Tom, I think that she came back in as a fullback more often. Is that correct?
Yeah, when she played against us, she played both as a left back and a right back.
Gotcha. So yeah, if that's the case, then Sabrina McNeil, more than likely, will offer some pretty good either competition for the likes of Dory Haugen and Charlotte McLean, or ultimately she could offer some good depth for them as well. If she's a player who has Super League experience, obviously, then she knows what the league is like. She knows what it takes to compete, and she knows how she gets herself on the field to take part in this. So you're always going to need depth if she isn't a starter, which she might well end up being. And we don't know at this point we don't know the fullback pairing. Probably Dory Haugen, and then we'll see who else. But I do like Sabrina McNeil coming in to play that option, because she did at least make an impression enough that I remember that she was more so of a defender last season.
Yeah, and the Fort Lauderdale team, obviously second in the league in the playoffs. Got to give them credit when they earn it. It's a good team. Very good defensively. We remember their offensive players more than their defense, and that's not a knock on the defense. You want to be quietly good as a defender.
Generally.
Yeah. So it's like long snappers in the NFL. If you know their name, it's probably because they screwed up. So as a defender, you want to be solid like that. And Fort Lauderdale was very good. I think because she is a wingback who can play either side, that's why we went out and got her specifically. The way DSB runs the system, the 3-5-2, we run our wingbacks into the dirt. We ask them to do so much. They're matching up against some of the best dribblers in the country. They're asked to go forward and provide support, asked to serve balls in, asked to shoot from outside. So you got to be able to do a lot, and we really need that depth at the wingback spot. So she's a more than a welcome addition, especially if you're another wingback. You don't view her as competition; you view her as help.
Yeah, right. That's a really good way to put it. It's even more so that you're not going to be able to play every single game over the course of, I don't even remember how many games we played last season, but it's 2 halves of the season, all on turf. We do have to remember that does take it out of you.
Yeah. So more than happy to have her. She's the first player to make the jump from the bad guys to the good guys here. So love that for her. The next signing is, if the league propaganda will be believed, and I think they're right to propagandize her in this way, the highest profile signing we have made. We went out and we got a midfielder from the Swiss national team, Sandrine Marron. She's not just, she's played she was with the Swiss national team at the Euros this past summer.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fairly important signing, not just for the Sun, but I think for the league as a whole, showing that there is a spot here in the Super League for European top-level talent, essentially. She just arrived this past week, like a couple days ago, so I don't know if she's quite ready to slot in immediately, but I would reckon she would be a mainstay in the midfield as soon as she's comfortable, as soon as Denise is comfortable having her out there.
I think that, I agree with everything that you said here. And the only reason that I would assume she isn't an immediate starter based on the caliber of player is just because more than likely after the Euro, a player would like a break. And she probably did not join the Tampa Bay Sun preseason immediately. Yeah. So just like you said, she's probably working her way back from a little bit of the closest thing that a professional player is going to get to an off season in this day and age. And having that little time off, then you got to work yourself right back up to it and get up to speed. I wouldn't necessarily assume she starts this one, but if she isn't the starter, let's say come September, that would be maybe not shocking. Let's not say shocking, but that's what I expect at least.
Yeah. I think you definitely would prefer to have a high-level talent like Sandrine coming into camp and needing a little rest because of how much she's been playing at the level she's been playing, as opposed to coming into camp and and not playing because she needs to get up to speed,
Right.
She needs to wind down a little bit. So it's better than the alternative. But yeah, very, very new, but huge, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I will take the next one then, and that is Jilly Shimkin. Was with our practice squad last year. Good scouting there, Tom, because that is not something that I knew. I did not know that.
Squad.
And
the Tampa Bay Sun practice squad is my second favorite team in the world.
That's perfect. And the best part about it is obviously now she already knows the system. She's coming into a system that she can jump into and be like, oh, you want me to do this? I knew that. Oh, you want me to do that? Well, I was aware. That's perfect for us. So she played with TBU as well in 2024. That's Tampa Bay United. For anybody who is unaware, they had this is the thing that we were talking about. Yes, the off-season team, the off-season league for mostly college-age players. Then they can go and play for TBU in this area, except now, unfortunately, they cannot. Jilly Shimkin, though, seems to have been a beneficiary of the previous times, the before times when we had that available. So a Texas grad and a young player who's coming in. I think, Tom, this is also roughly, because she was with TBU, this should be roughly her rookie season as well. So she looks like the perfect kind of player to bring in from your practice squad and say, all right, I feel you're ready for the big times. If you feel you're ready for the big times, let's get you going.
Yeah, and she's going to get going quicker than a lot of players would because she knows what's expected of her. She knows what Denise wants, and she knows, very importantly, the tendencies of her teammates.
Yeah.
So she's not a new player necessarily. She knows where Sydney Nasello wants to be, where the runs are going to happen. She knows when to drop the ball back to our howitzers and Brooke Hendricks and Viv Bissett and let them send it high. She's settled in already. I would not be at all surprised if she subs into this game, 70, 80th minute, just because she's a comfortable presence. I think if we're winning against Brooklyn in the 80th minute, Shimkin's coming in. That's what I think.
I want, the only thing that I'm worried about, because I talk to my cat like people, talking cat speak on the internet. So at some point I'm going to say Chimkin instead of Shimkin.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's going to make me look silly or if it's going to take off. I guess we're going to have to see at the moment.
Yeah. She has to know she has a very silly name, right? My mom's name is Jill. Shout out, Mom. You're watching. I know you are. You don't go by Jilly unless you're a little silly. It rhymes with silly. So yeah, if we end up calling her Jilly Bean Chimkin, she needs to know it's a compliment. Okay?
Exactly. This is not meant in any way to be derogatory. We're very positive on this.
Yes. Yeah. So the next player we have brought on, this is a forward, Emma Gaines Ramos. This is part of what I mean when I talk about replacing Cecilia, but not one for one. She is one of those different directions, different facets, different sort of angles of attack that we will be providing to our opponents. A smorgasbord of attacking options that will be a horrible buffet for opposing defenses. She is a rookie. She was signed out of San Diego State University by the Washington Spirit. She's been rehabbing a pretty bad leg injury, but she is an extremely proficient dribbler. It's her skill. She played 91 games in college for the Aztecs, scored 19 goals, but provided nearly as many assists. She's a danger on the wing. I think I watched a lot of her highlights. She mostly kind of operates going forward on the left side. Her biggest strengths, in my opinion, are her speed and her dribbling. There's a lot of clips out there of San Diego booting. It's a mid-major team, so she was playing she was playing down. We'll be honest, she's not. This isn't a North Carolina or a Georgia that we're talking about, a Wake Forest. She was playing for a mid-major team, but she was by far the best player on the field whenever those 22 players got out there. They would boot the ball from defense and kind of a screw it, Emma's up there somewhere sort of situation. And she would just get up there and make some magic happen one way or another. I'd like to see, I don't love that she's a loanee because she's not here for permanence, but I like being an option for teams, for NWSL clubs. Like Tampa Bay is a really good, well-run program. If we want somebody coming off of an injury, a rookie, to develop, to stay safe, to learn the game, we want her to be with Sun FC. So I'm excited about her. She's going to be a super sub problem for sure, I think.
Yeah. You mentioned her development. I think that if you are a very dribbly, mazy player, probably one of the better players for you to kind of roll yourself on in the most recent times of women's soccer. I think Sydney Nasello has shown not just that she already is a very dribbly, mazy player, but she added something to her game over the course of last season. I think that she went from a good player to one of the better players across the entire league. Does she have another level? We're going to have to see how that turns out this year, but she definitely raised her game. So I think that that's perfect. And yeah, if Emma can do the same, there's a perfect role model right in front of you. So yeah. I think that works out really well.
We've got to extol the virtues of our coaching staff, I think, whenever we get the chance. Be you a young player, a rookie player, a veteran player. I think everybody on that club last year, on that team last year, got better in some really noticeable way. I think, especially with the rookies, you could see it. Jordan Zaid, Avery Tankersley came in pretty one-dimensional, I would say. Good players, but one-dimensional for the pro game. And by the time the season was over, they were looking dangerous in more ways than one. So what our coaches are doing right now is, she didn't win Coach of the Year, but I think we probably have the best coaching staff overall in the Super League.
And also, it kind of makes sense coming from a college background where you obviously have to take players who are generally going to be raw to some level and mold them into a as close as you can get to a professional player. That's kind of what the college game is there for. Yeah. And now that's what we're doing with a lot of these just out of college players. So yeah, obviously perfect comparison there. Let's move on to the next one here. Emerson Elgin, a defender on loan from Boston Legacy. Now, I will be honest, Tom, I do not know a ton about Emerson Elgin before her moving here, but she has a pretty good pedigree from what I saw in looking her up. North Carolina Tar Heel, really good school. It's something that we've been talking about so far quite a few times in this episode. And if you can play for UNC, then you're already in a very good bracket of soccer player. She went to Gotham FC and was unable to kind of get onto the roster. So Boston Legacy has taken her on. Now Boston Legacy will join the NWSL next year. So that'll be in 2026. And that means that we'll probably have her until they want to start preseason, which I'm assuming will be right around the time of our December break. So that's probably the way that that's going to go. Emerson Elgin, though, midfielder and defender, as far as I can see. And you've got to imagine that this is another one who I'm not sure if she's a central player. I believe that she's more out wide, and you can please correct me if that's not correct, if that's wrong. But yeah, someone who can either offer, again, someone who can offer some good depth here, or if she works her way into the starting lineup. You know, we've seen that. We've already talked about a couple of players that really did well coming in on loan and helping us out for a large portion of the season.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that Boston isn't playing yet, but they will want her back when they decide to start playing games. I think all these loan players we're talking about, the 3 or 4 of them, you can kind of expect them for the fall, and then see them move on for 2026. But last mini off-season, mid-season break, we signed a bunch of new players too. So it's not something we're unused to. I do think she is a more outside player. She's fitting into that kind of depth situation that I talked about, where we want help for our wing midfielders, for our wing backs. But yeah, she, like you mentioned, we talk about, we're not North Carolina Tar Heel fans, but we just recognize greatness when we see it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're playing 73 games for the North Carolina Tar Heels, you are going pro. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. And not only that, during her time in college, her senior year, she was with the Courage U23s, which won the USLW League. So she's got the championship pedigree. She knows how to win at multiple levels. Don't fall in love with her, but I think she's going to be a part of what the magic that we're going to make happen at Big Jim this year for sure.
There we go.
Our next player is man. Talk about magic. We kind of pulled a rabbit out of the hat with this signing. I feel like this is a sneak signing. We have gotten ourselves forward, a little bit of an attacking midfielder by the name of Olga Masambo. She is I always do this. I see DR and I go Dominican Republic. No, DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo. She is in international with them. She actually played in the AFCONs, the Continental Tournament, just like Sandrine. And she's fascinating to me, man. She's a diamond in the rough. She is from the DRC, but she grew up in Quebec, started her college career down at D2 at Northwestern Ohio, moved up to D1, but not to a powerhouse program, to Wright State University, the Raiders out of Dayton. Graduated there, went to France, played for Toulouse, then moved on to a Polish club in Gdansk, and then kind of stepped the level back up to Liga MX with Mazatlan, and now she's joining us. So she's been around the world. She's well traveled. Obviously, a very smart player to be able to do all that. I like the potential here. This is not just a good signing in the terms that I think she's going to present a problem going forward. She's part of that sort of aggregate I like to talk about that replaces Cecile. Her, Emma. You don't replace Cecile one-on-one, but this is part of changing the angles, changing the attacks, presenting different options. And it more so than that, though, it's credit to our staff to see a player like her that I don't think anybody else in the Super League may even have noticed. This is a really nice one to me. Not to mention she was born on 420, and I love that.
Yeah, I did not know the name Olga Masambo before she was signed. However, yeah, we did some pretty good scouting here, in my opinion. For one thing, in the women's AFCON, WAFCON, as I like to call it, because that's just funnier. But yeah, I wish that I could have seen more games from there, because I don't know what type of player she is. I don't know exactly what we're getting here, but I got to be honest, all signs point very positive. And even if she comes in just to spell players later in games, this is the same thing that we were talking about with Emma Gaines Ramos earlier. If this is the player that you have coming off the bench, the defense is going to be like, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. Yeah. And that's what you want. That's what you want. We scored quite a few late goals last season in the USL Super League final, even. So if you can put defenders, if you can put the fear of God into them, and for 70 minutes, because they've got Sydney Nacello, and they've got Carly Giamona, and they've got Tosh Flint in front of them, and then coming off the bench, you're like, well, who do they have? Oh, okay. They have these other players that are Congolese international, and this really mazy dribbler coming off of an injury. Then, yeah, I think that's gonna really, like I said, scare them again, and they're gonna be too tired to function at that point.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of our game plan. I mean, you deal with a player like Hannah Keane for 70 minutes. Tosh Flint, Sid Nacello, Carly Giamona in the middle of the field, and then it's like, all right, who are they subbing on? And it's Emma Gaines Ramos, it's Olga Masambo, it's Jordan Zaid. You are ready to jump into the Hillsborough River if you're a defender. It's a nightmare. The fact that is, it's really tough late in the game for any soccer player as a defender, when you've been putting up with some of the most aggressive dribblers, most attacking players, and then to see, one of the four horsemen essentially sub in. Essentially, it's so good. I love the game plan of this team. There are so many teams around the Super League that don't have like a solid game plan. Thank God we've got an identity, dude. It makes talking about this team so much easier.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The next player that we have is Mackenzie Pluck. Who did we take her away? None other than Brooklyn. She was previously with them, and now she will probably, more than likely, line up against them this upcoming weekend. So Mackenzie Pluck is originally from Pennsylvania, went to Duke, very good school, and she tried to get into the NWSL with Angel City and Gotham. It didn't work out, so obviously the next step for her was to go to Brooklyn. As I just said, and I honestly do remember Mackenzie Pluck from our games against Brooklyn. I remember her being a pretty good player, so I could see her stepping into our midfield as well. Whether or not she's going to be the replacement, quote unquote, for Jade Moore next to Jordy Listro, I don't know that. But if she is, then we've got a pretty good player there, and I'm not against that. I think that Mackenzie Pluck is going to be one of the better signings that we have made, and we've already talked to her about like all of these players that we really like. So, yeah, I'm very positive on this one.
Yeah, if you're looking around the Super League, there's not a lot of players that we signed from inside the league.
Yeah.
So to be one of those couple players, Mackenzie Pluck, Sabrina McNeil, basically, right? To be one of those players, it means we saw something either that we really liked, and I think that's important. She's going to be a factor, absolutely. She knows what she's getting herself into. I'd like the signing a lot. The next two, we'll get them out of the way because they are both goalkeepers. And we signed the one player who I think will compete with Sydney Schneider in camp for that starting job, and that is Austrian national teamer Bella Kresge. She's got the pedigree, she's got the knowledge, she's got all the pieces. She's not going to be content, to sit on the bench. She's going to work hard in practice. I think Schneider gets the start, no doubt, unless something insane happened in training camp that we don't know about. But she's a very, very good player to have compete. And then the other one is Emery Wegner, who has actually not played, according to my research, for a couple of years. But she played for Asheville City. She played for some very good colleges. But she's sliding in as more of a coach, in my opinion. She helped run an academy up there in Asheville. She helped coach the Asheville City W League team. So she's a very knowledgeable professional player who is going to help us. I wouldn't say don't expect her to be playing all that often. I think if she does play a game, something truly horrible may have happened. No offense to Emery. But I think her impact is going to come in practice. So I like rounding out our goalkeeping core with two international players and then a very intelligent third option.
Yeah. You do need to have three goalkeepers just in case. And that's what this is for. But more than that, I think if you're going to be the third goalkeeper, you need to have somebody who's got a good personality. And if this is somebody who's already within the coaching space, then yeah, she's going to know what it's like to be in a locker room. She's going to know what it's like to I don't know, keep the spirits up. I've never been in a high stakes locker room. The closest I got was warming the bench on my high school. So don't ask me what that's like, but I guess I probably did a worse job about keeping the spirits up when we were losing. So if that's your role, that's your role. Every team does need three goalkeepers, but I'm excited for this. And Bella Kresge, I don't know a ton about her. She was with the Austrian team for a prior women's Euro, not the one this past summer, because I don't think Austria actually qualified. But point being, she's got experience, and I think that's if somebody's going to challenge her like Sydney Schneider, like you said, then it probably will be Kresge. So Tom, you have our proposed lineup here as well as our lineup from last season, so I'll let you get through that, because I think that we were mostly on the same page about 90% of this.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to me. I think our strength is going to be our continuity for the championship game. We had Orcus in goal, obviously gone. By the way, unsigned still. What the fuck is happening there? Somebody signed her. Oh my god. But regardless, gone. I think she gets replaced, obviously, with Sydney Schneider. Then moving up to the back line, we want to run the 3-5-2. It's DSB's preferred formation. It's me and Liz's preferred formation, the Pretty Soccer, that it produces. That back line for the championship game was Paige, Henny, and Viv. Paige gone. Henny and Bissett still there. I think the Paige replacement will be Charlotte McLean. She's got the pedigree. She's on loan. She's here for a reason. She's got to get them minutes, and I think she's gonna. Moving up to the defensive midfield, it was Jade Moore and Jordan Listro. Jade Moore obviously gone. It's a big hole. There's a lot asked out of those two defensive pivots in this sort of formation. So that's a tough spot to fill. I think Listro stays, obviously. The question mark for me here is Sandrine Marone. I haven't watched enough of her to know where she's comfortable playing, but I know she's a high-level player. But again, is she ready to jump in immediately? If she is, I think this is probably her spot. If she's not, Gabby Provenzano, because she would come in as the sub. And she's developed a lot as a leader the more comfortable she's gotten. She spent a lot of time in the NWSL with Portland. So she knows the game. She's a very intelligent player. I don't think I ever watched a Gabby Provenzano play and was like, what is she doing? She's like, she does the right thing constantly. Moving up, it was Micello, Jamona, and Doria Haugen for our attacking mids. That stays the same.
Yeah.
Unless maybe Sandrine comes in on the wing. I think she's going to be a central midfielder, though. I think that stays the same, and that's what you want to see. And then up top, it was Cecilia and Tosh. Obviously, Cecilia moved back home. So, like we talked about earlier, Hannah Keene takes that over. I think she might be one of the first players subbed off in the second half just to change the way the attack works. But I think she gets the start there. Anywhere you differ from me there, James?
Like I said, I agree with 90% of what you have here. The only thing that I could see possibly different is that we do not go with 3 at the back. Probably we do, because that was roughly what we were doing last season anyway. So, if we have a good system, why would you mess with it? But the only thing that I could see is if we did go with 4 at the back, you might want to go with someone who's a little bit more of an actual out and out fullback. And in that case, I would say Emerson Elgin probably starts as a fullback. But again, I assume that we're going with 3 at the back. So my assumption is what you have here. And my only little caveat is whether or not we actually continue with the formation. But like I said, more than likely the case, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I don't think we started the season at the 3-5-2, but we grew into it because that's what Denise wants. But again, we do have a lot of loan players, and their parent clubs want to see them play.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting if maybe we change things up partway through a game, because we have been very flexible, changing what we do, who plays where, not even necessarily making a sub, just moving personnel. We've done a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how Denise chooses to fit everyone in the field, because there's a lot of good pieces. It is Super League regular season. We are not the only team playing. There are 3 other games. Of course, please keep in mind this is now a 9-team league, not an 8-team league like it was, because Jacksonville joined us. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 9 teams are playing. At 7 o'clock, we play at 7, right, James?
I believe so.
Okay.
Let me just double check while I have the chance.
Yeah. Let's not disinformation anybody. But who does play at 7 o'clock for sure is Jacksonville's first ever game. And
Ours is also at 7.
All right, good. All right, so dual screen this. We're playing at 7. Jacksonville is starting their career. Is that the right phrase?
Their life?
Their life. They're starting. The little babies are being born directly onto the field against DC Power, which I think if you're an expansion club, you kind of couldn't be happier to be playing DC as your first opponent.
Yeah.
Also will be a very interesting game to me. I would almost say game of the week from an unbiased perspective, the 7:30 game, Fort Lauderdale versus Lexington. Fort Lauderdale, obviously the runners-up. Lexington, a bad team last year that has thrown money at the problem. Can they stack up against, it's a Fort Lauderdale team that I think got worse, and a Lexington team that everyone thinks got a lot better. Very interesting game. And the nightcap, the 2 West Coast teams, Spokane and Dallas, which for Super League is West Coast, okay? Again, an interesting game because these are 2 teams without true coaches. They both fired their coaches at the end of the year. Well, Spokane's coach left on her own accord. Dallas fired their coach, which is, people have said it, I'll say it, baffling.
It doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. I don't think you want to have a reputation as an organization that is, if you don't win the league, we're going to fire you, because nobody's going to want to join you. But yeah, they have their general manager, Chris Petruccelli, acting as their head coach, which is, I don't know, it just feels like a red flag. I'd be upset as a Trinity fan. And Spokane have the interim former assistant coach, I believe, Josh McAllister. So these are 2 teams that are kind of limping into the season. I would say they've had the 2 worst off seasons, I think.
It's I don't know, if you are going into a season and you haven't I understand that there is an off season and it's not particularly long. Also, There's somebody out there. There's somebody out there.
Yeah.
Sporting Jacks went and got their coach from college. I'm sure that there are a ton of college coaches who would like to do this. I mean, we did the same thing, obviously. I don't know. It's very weird. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah.
So
if you're Dallas, there's how many soccer teams in that state?
Yeah,
And
I mean,
you're
honestly, you
one
could
of two
probably
pro
go to one of the
clubs.
youth clubs there.
Yeah, I guarantee there's somebody who does it. And Petrocelli's a smart guy, but we talked to the Dallas fella a couple weeks ago, and he could not stop talking about how cool Petrocelli is. He's a local guy. He knows the game. He knows the area. He's signing local players because he knows them. Chris, surely you know a coach as well, right? I don't know. Those are two interesting teams to watch. Lexington, Dallas, Spokane, the three most interesting teams to me besides us.
Yeah. I think that you also highlighted the Fort Lauderdale Lexington game. Yep, that would be something that I want to see.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very cool to get the season started this weekend. I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love this league, dude. I so love this league. And let's wrap this up. Real quick, a shout out to a fan favorite, Ashley Clark, who signed in Iceland for Vikingur FK, and yesterday scored a goal. They won 5-3. She scored,
Nice.
So she's killing it up there. She looks great in black and red. And yeah, to finish this off, I hinted at it earlier. There is a lot more women's soccer in Tampa Bay than there used to be, because there used to be like none. So now, obviously, you got the Sun. We all love the Sun. You got USF. So yes, it's not none. USF has been here for a long time. Denise was there for 20 years, but they are in their season now. It's a short, like 2-month season. They play like 2 games a week. The games are on ESPN Plus. You probably have it if you're a Rowdies fan.
Mm-hmm.
So tune in, because like I said earlier, McKenna Batilla committed to join them next year. Skylar Alonso already there as a freshman playing. One of the goalies for USF, Leda Aref Galak, the hardest name to pronounce in the entire world. And she was on our practice squad last year. So she's in the Sun ecosystem in our orbit. But yeah, right now they're 1-1. They were picked to finish second in their conference. They're supposed to play Central Florida tonight. But that was at lightning delay last I checked. So hopefully that gets played and hopefully we win. But yeah, I mean, go Bulls. And of course, obviously, Denise's husband coaching the team. So like, that's our JV program right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then not only that, we are flush with college programs. There's the University of Tampa downtown, just a 5-10 minute walk away from Riverfront. Eckerd College in South St. Pete, Florida College in Temple Terrace, Polk State, the Eagles out there in Lakeland, St. Leo up north in Pasco County, Pasco Hernando Community College. Go Bobcats! They play, and then you got Southeastern, a powerhouse at the NAIA level in Lakeland, and then Weber International, Warner University, Bolton, Polk County. Get out there, do yourselves a favor. If the Sun aren't playing that week, find a college game to go watch, because it's a great time.
That is a good call to arms that you got going, Tom. And the last one, UPSL Bay City Rain preseason. So I did not know about Bay City Rain until I checked your notes here. And there are games coming up according to this. Obviously, one is already passed on 8:20, but coming up as well at 8:24 at St. Leo. I'm assuming that would also be in the Pasco one. And then on 8:30 at Eckerd. So you could go and catch them on either of those dates at either of those venues.
Yeah, that's their preseason. This is the second season of a UPSL women's division here in Tampa Bay. I believe Bay City Rain are the defending champions locally, but there was also South Tampa FC, Shock City FC. I believe there was one other. Yeah, it's a good sign that the game is growing, that we've got a little group of UPSL clubs. The actual season schedule is not released for any of them, but once it's out there, it's going to be worth watching.
Yeah. My sister was previously playing for Shock City. She won't be right now, but yeah, so go and support the UPSL. There you go.
Yeah, love the UPSL, dude. Crazy league. So yeah, that's everything going on. Nice juicy episode for a delicious weekend. Let's pop it off. James, score prediction. Hit me.
All right. I went with my score prediction earlier in the week because I wrote up the preview for this. So I'm ready to go. 2-2 draw away in Brooklyn.
Okay. Okay. Ye of little faith, man. Okay.
I'm all the bummer. I'm the bummer for the Sun. I'm the bummer for the Rowdies. Anybody who reads the previews, you can see I'm always the one that if it's going to be a draw, I expect a loss. If it's going to be a win, I expect a draw.
That's fair. Honestly, it's good to have a gimmick. I will chime in here for my lovely co-host Liz, who is dealing with swamp-style internet right now. That's why she's not here. She's picking a 2-1 win for the Tampa Bay Sun FC. So, a little bit of growing pains. I could see that. It's safe. I think you have to consider that Liz won the predictions last season.
She did by a hefty margin.
Yes, by quite a bit. So don't discount the possibility of a 2-1 win. You want to do Eureka's?
Yeah, I'll do Eureka's. Eureka has actually joined me in the draw column here. I went with 2-2, and Eureka has gone with a 1-1 draw. So we'll see which of us is the worst pessimist. Whether one of us is right or one of us is wrong, then we'll have that side action on this bet.
And my pick, there was a point last season where I believe I was the only person to pick us to lose a game. And we ended up winning. And in the post-game press conference, Coach Denise yelled at Eureka, or at you, James, I believe, one of y'all.
Probably me.
Yelled at y'all, who said we were going to lose? So I am not making that mistake again. I've got this as a 2-0 win for the defending champion Tampa Bay Sun FC. I think Brooklyn didn't do enough in the offseason. They don't know who they are. They don't know what a soccer field is. They're not good at home. They can try all they want to defend, but we have too much to throw at them. I think we show the league, we put them on notice here. We're coming back.
You know what? I could see it, as always. As I said, I'm the pessimist. And when I see Denise Schulte-Brown and she yells at me again,
yep.
then we'll all get to enjoy that moment. But if you have your own score prediction, obviously you can add that. Eureka's going to throw our score predictions up on the social medias coming up here. So make sure you keep your eye out for it.
Yeah. James, thanks so much for joining me. It's always good to have you. You are a bright young mind, and you have wonderful facial hair, and I appreciate.
Other than this patch that grows in on this side, it doesn't grow here and it grows in here, so it looks like I'm trying to grow a beard and mustache that connect, and only do it on one side. It's not a choice; it's just the way that it grows, folks.
Don't point it out, man. I'm trying to help you here. But yes, if you like James's beautiful face and voice, and go ahead, please like and subscribe. If you wish Liz was here instead of James, like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think the season's going to be. Tell us how badly we're going to beat Brooklyn. Tell Eureka and James that they're wrong, bad, and dumb for thinking it's going to be a draw.
And you can definitely do that.
And please do. And as always, let's go to the Sun.
Let's go.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.